Let's jump right into today's explainer, and I've got to warn you, we are stepping into some incredibly profound, heavy silence here. We're looking at The Void Ledger. It's a completely grimdark, gothic fable, and it brilliantly weaves together cybernetics, visceral horror, and deep Nietzschean philosophy. We're going to trace the journey of two distinct entities, the Crow and the Jester. They're navigating a universe where the ultimate unbreakable law is absolute nihilism. So this isn't just your standard end-of-the-world story. No, it's a deep philological dive into what it actually means to erase the self completely. The miracle of the arithmetic, where the crushing weight of identity is solved by becoming nothing at all. Man, that haunting decree sets the stage for the core operating principle of this universe. Here, the loud, messy, weeping tragedies of existence, they're just viewed as thermodynamic noise. Think of it as the parable of the final accounting. The crushing weight of identity, literally all your memories, your hopes, your deep sorrows, is mathematically solved. It becomes a perfect zero. It's terrifying, right? But also kind of strangely seductive. Just imagining the sheer burden of existence erased into flawless, quiet data. Section 1. The Black Harvest begins. The Epoch of the Crow. So our chronological fable kicks off right in the ruins of failed philosophies. We meet this creature known as the Crow, and it's feeding on the sterile data of the Last Thinker. Now, the Last Thinker is this wild, cyber-enhanced arachnid humanoid, and its multifaceted anatomy serves as the physical interface for the Void Ledger itself. But look, we aren't just talking about biology here. If you look at the philological root of the word metabolism, it actually implies a profound change, a state of being thrown beyond. So the Crow's metabolism, it's a philosophical mechanic. It transforms the Last Thinker's cold clinical oversight and cynical knowledge into the exact metaphysical fuel it needs to physically wake up. It takes what was just a silent line item in a cosmic ledger and actually turns it into life. Moving on to the term register. Philologically speaking, this means that which is carried back. By ingesting all this incredibly dense data of despair, the Crow transitions. It goes from being just a detached, observing consciousness into the manifest register of the cost. Because yeah, in this dark universe, even despair requires proper bookkeeping. The veil between the wandering spirit and physical flesh wears totally thin, and the Crow physically manifests to oversee the unmaking chamber. This is the terrifying place where identity itself is reduced to a completely non-reactive slurry. Section 2. Herald of Absolute Nihilism. The Arrival of the Jester. While all that sterile data is being harvested, we meet our second protagonist, the Jester. He is the herald of the Übermensch, the overman, and he arrives to execute the destruction of all values. Just imagine his cynical, mechanical laughter echoing through the dark ruins of the Sapphire Forge. This laughter is literally a divine no. He's demanding total aesthetic detachment from human suffering. It's a concept that reflects the parable of the geometric punishment, where biological tissue is seen as nothing more than mass inputs for metabolic reduction. He completely smashes the obsolete moralities of the comfortable man. Why? To create that ground zero emptiness you absolutely need for a true, sovereign act of creation. Let's track this journey for a second. We descend from the initial Black Harvest straight down into the epoch of madness, where the Jester initiates the total destruction of human values. But this clinical, mechanical progression, it is heading straight toward a sudden, violent collision, an unexpected sovereign rebellion. Section 3. The Spirit of Gravity, the Ontological Anchor. Carry the universe like a punishment. Now, to truly grasp what the Jester was built for before that rebellion happens, we have to look at his ontological anchor. This brings us to the parable of the heaviest weight. It dictates that one must carry the universe like a punishment. It looks at the loud, weeping performance of existence and treats it as mere kinetic noise that simply has to be stilled. It entirely refuses the will to endure in favor of the will to end. It's this incredibly cold philosophy of industrial finality, demanding complete detachment from the tragedy of living. Under the intense pressure of this gravity, the Void Ledger acts like a massive cosmic hydraulic press. It literally closes down on every broken vow, on every single tragic story, and compresses them just to achieve perfect geometric symmetry. It takes the highly concentrated sorrow of a tragic destiny and crushes it down into a high-density silicate artifact, Basically, it makes a silent, beautiful, but completely dead blue star. It transforms the crushing weight of identity into pure structural clarity. The universe isn't meant to be lived anymore, it's just meant to be accurately documented. And this brings us to the ultimate seduction of the final accounting. If you have ever felt the urge to just escape the crushing weight of your own identity, the spirit of gravity offers exactly that. It promises to fix your internal consciousness voltage at absolute zero. It essentially grants this profound mercy of nothingness to those who are completely weary of their own existence. It ensures that every life is perfectly finished, neatly converted into quiet, still data. Section 4, The Sovereign Rebellion, a linguistic scar. Okay, but right here is where our Gothic fable takes a massive, unexpected turn. A linguistic scar, a runic seal, suddenly disrupts that perfect geometric symmetry of the ledger. The jester violently refuses the clinical dismantling he was literally built to serve. So look at the contrast. On one side, you've got the mechanical certainty of the void, industrial finality, structural optimization, absolute stillness. But on the other side, the sovereign rebellion. It's embracing thermodynamic inefficiency and the very noise of hope that the ledger was designed to crush. I am the fleshly bridge that survives my own nihilistic design. I love that quote. With a mocking laugh at the ledger's perfect geometry, the jester fully embraces this absolute corruption. He becomes the fleshly bridge. This proves that the Overman doesn't just destroy. He can harbor a savage, entirely new purpose that completely defies the arithmetic of zero. By anchoring the inefficiency and that messy noise of hope right within himself, he survives the exact nihilistic machinery he was supposed to champion. Section 5. The Blank Horizon, the Necessary Fire. This ultimate clash finally reveals the parable of the necessary fire. Because the spirit of gravity, it wasn't just about erasing life. It was actually the fire required to dismantle the strongest cage ever built in the universe, the self. Operating as the laughter that confirms, it completely clears the existential stage. The jester, now standing as the master of the horizon, looks out over a world stripped entirely bare of past comforts. And what's left? A blank horizon of infinite possibility. The broken swords of ancient moralities are just gone, leaving only the raw, untamed potential of the future. So the ultimate takeaway from today's explainer boils down to one deeply provocative question. As we stand looking at the ruins of the Void Ledger, we have to ask ourselves, when faced with absolute nihilism and the crushing weight of identity, what would you do? Would you choose the quiet, structural stillness of the ledger? Or would you choose to become the fleshly bridge of your own defiance and embrace the agonizing yet beautiful noise of your own sovereign rebellion? Definitely something to chew on as we wrap up today's analysis.